How do I apply for the H1b visa lottery? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States at our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the changes that have taken place at USCIS over the past several years in an effort to streamline the H1b employment visa process. The H-1B visa is the visa that's set aside by USCIS for those foreign nationals who want to work in the United States because they have a specialty occupation. A specialty occupation is a term of art, but basically it's a job that requires a college degree, and it's one that is sort of specialized. So you're talking about your accountants, your software developers, your doctors, your lawyers, people like that. There's lots of people that apply for H-1Bs in all kinds of specialties, but usually it's one that's going to require a college degree and a certain degree of specialization. In order to understand these changes that I'm talking about today, you need to hear a little bit about how things used to work. So in the old days, USCIS would open the doors on April 1st to any and all comers. So everybody who wanted to apply would have to complete all the forms necessary. They would have to send in the filing fees. They would have to get documentation of the employee and the employer and the position, and they'd have to send that all off to USCIS service centers by April 1st every year. And if you got selected in the lottery that happened, you would then get your visa on or around October 1st of later in that year. But this was a very inefficient system. People really hated this system because you had to do all that upfront work before you found out whether or not you were selected in the lottery. Now, we give a lot of grief to USCIS because of the silly things that they do, but this is one change that they made that really turned things around and made things better. Now with just a $10 filing fee, you can register for an H-1B visa for your potential employees. So instead of paying a bunch of money to lawyers and sending in all those filing fees, you can just register for the lottery in March of each year, and you do that before you do all that work that I just mentioned. So now the lottery is conducted just based on the name of the employer, the position, and the employee. And so that way you don't have to do all that work and spend all that money that I mentioned earlier. You only do that if, in fact, you get selected. So it's actually cuts down on the paperwork for USCIS, it cuts down on the work and expense for the employer, and it cuts down on work for lawyers. So it's really a win-win-win all around. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you want to sponsor a foreign national for an H-1B and you want them to come work for you, most likely they're not going to be able to come work for you until October of that year. And in order to get them eligible to work and get that visa in October, you have to start this process back in March. And so in March now, for the last couple of years, there's been the lottery system. And as I mentioned, you pay that $10 fee. You register your position and you identify you as the employer and the employee, and then you find out if you get selected in the lottery. This is a really great new program. Last year there were over 300,000 people that applied for these H-1Bs. There are 65,000 set aside for people with bachelor's degrees, and there's an extra 20,000 set aside for people with advanced degrees. So in total there's 85,000. So you're talking about 85,000 selections out of the 300,000 that were submitted. And so, it's nice to not have to spend that money on the lawyers, nice to not have to spend that money on all the paperwork and gathering all the evidence. And so it's really working well. USCIS will then conduct the lottery, and they actually take more people than visas that are going to be available because they know that some are going to fall through the cracks. And then this last year, they actually reran the lottery a few times because they wanted to make sure that they used every single visa available. That wasn't always true in the Trump days, but it is true now. So the system's really sort of settled down. It's been in place. This will be the third year that it's been in place, but we really like this registration system. So you register the position, and then you go ahead and find out if you got selected, and then you do all the heavy lifting, all the paperwork of getting the LCA from the Department of Labor, filling out the I-129 and all the other paperwork that goes along with the H-1B. And you do all that knowing and being confident that you've already been selected. We've enjoyed working on this so far, and if you have any questions about this, give us a call, 314-961-8200. You can email us, info@hackinglawpractice.com. Be sure to join us in our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. If you like this video, we ask that you please share it out on social, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that you join us on our Immigration Answers live show. We're doing it every single day in January of 2022, and we'd love to see you there. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.